Hello, 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 hello. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to this podcast. My name is Lerato Gaven Malope. Yes. Um, this year, 2021, is my 21st anniversary into real estate. I started in the year 2000 under the guidance and tutoring of the late Mr. Basil Alk in Johannesburg, Johannesburg Road in the suburb called Lyndhurst. The company was called Realty One Alk. It had, at that time when I was there, it had 110 offices throughout the country. I learned a lot there, but I didn't apply everything that I learned at the same when I started my own firm. It's only later when then I started hosting a property show on KFM for 2 years with Katlego Mabuzela that so many things started making sense. So this show was hosted in 2015. 2015, we pushed it for 2 years. And then later on, I had my own show on Africa Business Radio. I've also learned a lot there. Really, really, really learned a lot. So today's topic is about turning property investors and entrepreneurs into bridging finance investors. You know, something was happening at Realty One Alk. I remember my leader at the time, the CEO himself, Mr. Basil Alk, partnered with a company called Jigsaw. It was Jigsaw, it was Yellow Pattern, so all those companies under together, they formed an umbrella called Jigsaw, and then Realty One Alk was there and other companies. But surprisingly enough, it took me a good 16 years to realize how the big boys are playing real estate. So you see, initially, I was investing all my money. And now the challenge will always be, because remember, in real estate, our cash flow is not regular. So if you invest all your money, then you'll always, be caught up between the business expenses and your own family expenses. So, but when you get partners, and then you sort of draw a salary, or you separate your sales. In fact, it's not even about drawing a salary. It's all about separating your sales. Where your investors will then supply you with the necessary cash flow. Then you're able to have a very good balance. I mean, this is how the big guys are doing it. All the big agencies, this is how they're doing it. So I learned it through interviewing people on radio. If I didn't have the opportunity of interviewing people on radio, I would not know this secret. So I'm inviting you to say, come partner with me. Let's do this together. So most people, like I'm a property coach as well, but most people are taught that buy real estate, flip it, go to the auction, flip it. I did that as well. Flip it, and then you'll make money. So it's good. You can do that, but that is very involving. And not everybody has the time. Some people are engineers, accountants, doctors. Not everybody has the time to go to the auction and do all of those things. However, all we're looking for at the end of the day is making extra cash flow. So here's a question. Are you a property investor, or are you an entrepreneur? Okay. Are you open-minded to listen to a method that will make your money work harder for you? Not you working hard, but let the money work harder for you 24/7. So my question to you would be, have you ever heard of the term bridging finance? Do you know what bridging finance is? If you do, good, but not everybody knows. So let me explain. Bridging finance is a method where the seller of the property or the agent who sells the property get their money ahead of time. Okay, so remember, a property transfer in South Africa takes about 2 to 3 months before it transfers from the seller to the buyer. And only when transfers happen, this is when the seller's proceeds are paid and the agent's commission is paid. So what happens in between? So let's say the agent had enough money to source to find 2 properties to sell, and then that is that working capital. So as soon as that working capital is finished, the agent then has to wait for 3 months for the agent to get the money so that the agent can work again. So you can, just from that alone, you can see that this is an epileptic success. 1 minute you're up, 1 minute you're down. 1 minute you're up, 1 minute you're down. So you want to regulate it, okay? So the only way to regulate this, it's when you invite other players to work with you and then share the spoils, which we call commission. Okay, so as I said, that the property transfer takes about 3 months, and only that this is when the buyer, the agent, get their money. Likewise, the people who are buying properties from auction, the ones that are also coach, where we flipping properties, the same thing applies. So a property would take 2 to 3 months to register into the investor's name. Remember, now the investor bought the property to buy and sell. Then what happens? Only after 3 months, then the investor has to start marketing the place. And let's say the investor is lucky, the property was priced correctly. It means from the beginning to the end, it will take about 6 months. However, if the investor was lucky, by the time he or she spotted the property, the investor automatically had another buyer. So then the whole process will take what we call 3 months, a normal 2 to 3 months, and then it will go through a process that we call simultaneous transfer. But if it needed renovations, so normally it's prudent to only do renovations once the property is in your name. So therefore, this whole thing will take you about 6 months, even if you spotted a good property. But because of you need to fix it so that you can push the value higher, it will take you 6 months. From the minute you buy till you sell, minimum, you can even go to 7 months, 8 months, sometimes even a year, okay? So that you can now liquidate your money back, okay, the money that you've spent, okay? So, in this case then, a bridging finance investor, this is where I'm saying, I welcome you. I want you to be a bridging finance investor. So what is that? A bridging finance investor can be a property investor or entrepreneur who assists the seller or the agent by making sure that they get their money before transfer of the property. Yes. So the seller of the property will give up their right to claim the commission and from the house. Obviously, the conveyancer, the lawyer will be facilitating this process. Okay, and then likewise, the agent will also give up the right, either of the whole commission or the portion of the commission. Okay, for example, let's say the agent's commission is 20,000. Excuse me. Then the agent can decide that, okay, I just want to breach only 5,000. So then out of the 20, the agent will give up the right of that 5,000, but then the agent can still earn the remaining 15,000 rand. Okay, so far so good? Good. So let's continue. So you can already deduce that bridging finance, it's a lucrative business because you're helping the agent. Hence, I'm saying let your money work harder for you. You, as the bridging finance investor, you don't have to do anything other than supplying you cash. Let the agent work. He's the one who's selling houses. Let the agency work for you, and then let your own money work for you. Okay? So in South Africa, bridging finance is a short-term loan finance, which should be payable within 12 months. Okay, and on average, the percentage will be 5% per month, which means per annum will be 60%. So let's be clear. How many investment opportunities that you know that pay 60% per annum? Okay. So you also find companies that don't charge this 5%, they charge 3%. Okay, but that's why I'm saying on average 5%, because others will also charge maybe slightly higher than this, depending on the deal. Each and every deal is different, so it will be looked at its own merit. Okay, but at 60%, even if you had to use, say, 4% times 12 would be 48%. Come on, tell me. 48% within a year. For me, that's a beautiful ching. Okay, so let's make an example. Say the agent or the seller of the property, okay, wants to breach 7,500. Okay, so at 4%. That means the interest rate per month will be 300 rand. Okay, so to do the paperwork, normally there would be an administration fee. Okay, say of another 300 rand. Okay, 300 rand would be a standard admin fee. Others will charge 250, others 150, and others would not charge this amount, depending on the interest. The higher the interest, the more people don't charge this administration fee. And then they only concentrate on the percentage that they're looking for. Okay, so what does this mean? This means on 7,500, 300 rands per month, and then the administration fee of 300 rand as well. Monthly charge would be how much? 600. So the bridging finance for that particular month would be something like 8%. Okay, in 2 months' time, 12%, in 3 months' time, 16%, which means in 2 months' time, 12 divided by 2 will be 6%, and then 16% divided by 3 would be about 5 point something percent. So that's why we say, on average, bridging finance would be around 5%. Okay, so already you can pick up that, you know what, this is a lucrative business. All right. So the same 7,500, if then you had to do a bridging finance of 7,500 at 5%. So instead of making like here 600 rand, you'll make 675, and then your percentage, instead of making 8%, you'll be 9%, 14%, and then 19%. So it goes up. So 19% is almost 20. So 20 divided by 3 would be almost 7, or that means 6.9% or something like that. So, and then let's say the same agent or the seller of the property wanted to bridge 7,500, and as a bridging finance partner, you were charging 10%. That simply means, and the interest will be 750. And remember, this is per month. Okay, this is per month. So because of his 10%, there is no administration fee. So, you know, this will be stable 10%, 20%, 30% per month, but on an average, it would be about 10%. Okay. Already you can see that this is lucrative. So this is what I got from Investopedia. What is bridging finance? It is finance paid to the agent on a sale concluded, but before registration of the property. Bridging finance ensures steady cash flow to buy airtime, petrol, and meet other financial needs. Okay, so you can also, and it is also in line with this principle called time value of money. What is time value of money? Why would people want to bridge? Why wouldn't they wait Why wouldn't the seller wait? Why wouldn't the agent wait? So let's specifically speak about the agent. So time value of money is the concept that a sum of money is worth more now than the same sum would be at the future date due to its earning potential in the interim. So, okay, this is a core principle of finance. A sum of money in the hand has a greater value than the sum of money to be paid in the future. In other words, if I'm an estate agent, let's say I need about 5,000 rand working capital to be able to do what I need to do as an estate agent. But as an estate agency, I'll probably need more, minimum 20, 25, 30, whatever the case might be. But as an estate agent, my monthly overheads would be about 5,000 rand every month, but I sell one home, then what happens? So let's make an example. So let's say then you sell one home. 750,000 at 7%. So what is the total commission? 52,000 rand. So even if you were taking, let's say, a portion of this, which would be, let's say you were taking 70% of this, that means you'll be taking home 35,000 rand. So your monthly expense would be what? 5,000 to make 35. The same thing like a person who's working, a doctor, an engineer. In most cases, we are service providers. So what do? You spend 1,000 or 2,000 rand on petrol to go to work to provide services. And then come month end, the employer pays you 60,000, 75,000 or 80,000. But you only need small amount of money as your working capital, 5,000. And now people are even working from home. So you're traveling, you don't really travel that much. So your working capital, it's very small amount, 2,500, 3,000 for you to be able to work and earn 75,000, 100,000, whatever the case might be. So the same thing also applies to an estate agent. The difference is, as an employer or as an employee, you get paid regularly every month. But as an estate agent, this is where the drama is, where your salary is not regular. Why is it not regular? Because of this waiting period. You can wait 2 to 3 months. 2 to 3 months waiting for your salary. So what happens in between? Then you get stuck. This is where you need a bridging finance investor to partner with a bridging finance investor. So I'm inviting you to partner with us, with my agency and my agents as well. My agency and my agents as well. And then in that way, we can both grow. Okay. Okay. Good. Now let's go further. So as I said, this is a lucrative business. Bridging finance opportunity. This is the opportunity that I was talking about. Real estate agency by nature is different from other industries because of the delay in payment terms after rendering of services. Thus, estate agency and agent's cash flow is irregular. This is an opportunity for a bridging finance investor to ensure that their money works hard for them by taking the opportunity to supply the working capital needed by the agents and or agencies. Okay, bridging finance investors and a part of the agent or agency's commission each time they sell. So each time an estate agent sells, he earns a commission. So you as a bridging finance investor, you would also earn part of the agent's commission. Okay, so let's look at practical examples. For example, I've just started my company again this month of November. Okay, so all the website, everything is set up. So because things have changed, previously the company that I had, Gaven Properties, my overheads were 250,000 rands every month because of we didn't have Facebook at the time. Even if it was there, it was not popular. But around 2005, 2006, I don't know when Facebook started. I don't know, maybe started late 2008 or 9, something like that. But I had dustbins almost throughout Johannesburg. I was paying on the, outdoor advertising alone, spending almost 50,000 on dustbins, and we were also advertising on this paper called Saturday Star. That a page alone would take you about 8,000 if you took 2 pages a week. So a month it would be 32,000, and then there was Kexton as well that will also set you the full page. You pay a lot of money, but at the end of the day, 250,000. We had 4 offices, 4 buildings. Oh man, you can just imagine each building we're paying about 10,000 bonds, rates and taxes, everything. So easy 20,000 salaries, and then we also had secretaries to pay. But things have changed. Like now, we have a virtual office. We've joined Rigas in Santin. We have a virtual office. Look at what we are paying. And then our phones, look at this. I connect our phones. Phew, my telephone bill used to be, I don't know, I can't remember, 15, 20,000, because my agents, they had the cell phones. And yeah, but now we're able to have a virtual a connection line, which is 1,005. So prices have dropped so much. The commissions are dropping, but not as much, because people still need this information. There's Consumer Protection Act, there's POPI Act. So people always need the services of real estate agent, because real estate agency is not like bread. We don't buy houses every day. So you really, to be prudent, you really, really, really need someone to show you what to do and how to do. Otherwise, you try to do this thing on your own, you lose 250,000. That's called stupidity. Really, really called stupidity, because you would rather have an agent show you what to do, what not to do, and then maybe on your second or third property, then you can do things on your own. But other than that, you really need an estate agent to show you and to help you. So back to bridging finance anyway. So our agency, the cost is, we are sitting at 25,000. Obviously, this is going to grow eventually to 54,000. But at 24,000, we can easily start making sure that we have everything that a big company has. Okay, and with this bridging finance, as I say that, interviewing people, being on the radio, I learned a lot, especially when I was the host now. Being the one who's interviewing people, I learned a lot. I used to interview a lot of principals, okay? And I realized that big boys are playing this game the same way as my mentor, Mr. Basil Elk, was playing it. He had partners to take care of the working capital. And then they will share the spoils, which was the commission. It's as simple as that, only for a fraction of a percentage. And that percentage is tax deductible. Tax deductible, nohal. So why would a person want to do real estate on their own? Why? It's because of most people of color lack knowledge. Remember, they didn't know these things. And remember something, prior to this, when I was at Realty One Elk, I used to read a lot. Do you remember PERM, PERM, and United Buildings? Those guys used to partner with estate agencies. So the banks partner with estate agencies. They'll give estate agencies marketing material, and at some point they were the actual partners, where the bank will take 30% of the business, the agency would then own 70%, and then after 1994 some of the things were no longer applicable. Okay, but then later on, you remember how the e-bucks started? They were competing with Stanrands. Banks at the end of the day used to support big estate agency businesses. But now people of color, most of them are coming, and all of these things are starting to change. And this is why you don't find big companies surviving, because they do not know these things. They do not know these things. And I bet, as I'm telling you, inviting you to be a property investor, some of the things that I'm talking about, you just didn't know about it. Not even property investor. I'm talking about bridging finance investor. Some of the things that I'm talking about, you also don't know about. It's like, huh? Yes. So I'm saying to you, let your money work harder. Okay. I've bought properties on auction. that is still an option, but do not neglect to do this. You don't have to buy a property under pressure. Do this. Become a bridging finance investor. 60% per annum of your money. Corner. That's a lot of ching. And let's say then you only managed to rent out your money for 6 months. Then we're talking what, 30%? That's still a lot of ching. Come on, guys. This is a lot of ching. So, okay. We need to go. Okay, yes. So I was showing you, for example, my company. Okay, so at 24,000, these are cost. Okay, so this can be 6 people, bridging finance investor. 6 people can club together to do this, or 10 people can club together at 2,500 to pay this. That's it. Okay, so let's talk about worst case scenarios. Okay, so on average, okay, look, I can sell a property worth 750 with ease. I've got 21 year experience anyway. And then let's say then I'm sharing with you 50% of my spoils. Okay, so that means working capital is 24,000. There's 24,000 that you pay, and then you're going to get 12,000. Remember, this takes 3 months to register. So let's say we had a difficult deal. It then takes about 6 months. Maybe a deal like a deceased estate, which on average can take about 9 months. Okay, and then let's talk about deals which are good. On average, that will be 3 months. So at 6 months, it's a good record to say, okay, let's work with 6 months. And then let's say for some reason here I was paying you something like so for every 6 months. Okay. Look, per annum bridging finance per annum would be 50% when we work at 4.2%. Okay, so which means it's 25% per 6 months, and then 50% per annum. Okay, so but here I was working where I say, okay, let's just say worst case scenario, this thing took a year. So you gave us 24,000, it took a year, so that means you're entitled to 50% because bridging finance has to be done within 12 months. Then you'll be earning 12,000 on 24,000 rand. What does that leave us? With 15,000, but at least you got your money. So for argument's sake, you know that you do a bridging first month, you do a bridging second month, you do a bridging third month, you do a bridging fourth month, fifth month. After 6 times, then the cycle changes because you are starting to earn. Okay? And then worst case scenario, you want out. It's not a problem. Remember, there are big companies who does bridging finance, but they are not owned by people of color, unfortunately. So let's say you were doing a bridging finance, and then after 3 months you want your money, and your bridging finance was against maybe say a deceased estate. Not a problem. I can then take a deal to big companies. Okay, big companies, we have Granite. Big companies, we have Prevans. I can take the deal to them, and then they breach the deal. After they breach the deal, we pay you out so that you exit at the deal. You're able to do other things. For me, you know what is in my heart? I just want to find a way of blessing people of color to the best of my ability, you know. And this does not mean I'm excluding other races. No, of course, if they understand the opportunity, they want to jump into it, I'm going to give it to them. But it would be so nice to have a good mixture with people of color so that we can understand this thing, take a country to where we need to. You know, we cannot always have, you know, more people having and other people not having. This will just continue and perpetuating crime. So we need to do the best that we can to also balance what we need to balance. Nonetheless, enough about politics. I was just showing you that on a deal worth 750,000, we can easily cover this money that was breached. Okay, and then on a smaller amounts, for example, we can take this one, on a property worth 500,000 at 7%, 35,000 rand. So even if you breach 24,000 plus 12,000, that's almost 36 versus 35. You still get your money back. I hope this makes sense. Okay, so let's continue with our slides. So as I explained, bridging finance investors earn a part of the agent or agency commission each time they sell. Okay. Working capital. The agency needs working capital, as I just explained from the previous slides, to ensure that the agents have all tools needed to run the businesses, and as well as the agencies. For example, the agency, as I made example with my own company, the agency empowers the agents with the airtime and legal covering, websites, advertising on private property, property 24, all of those things. And then what does the agent really need? The agent in most cases only needs a petrol and then food, because sometimes you sell properties, you are in Johannesburg or they say in Alexander, the property is in Sebokeng, you went there, people said they'll be there at 1, they don't come, they come at 3, by the time they come, you're so hungry, you cannot wait to go back to Alexander and cook yourself something, so you need to buy something around the area so that you don't faint along the way. Yes, that does not mean one cannot make scaftini, lunchbox, but sometimes you left in a hurry that you also need some cash flow to be able to do certain things that you need to do. Okay, so the agency empowers the agent, and then the agent needs to empower himself to be able to keep on having more deals. So challenges faced by the property investor. Yes, let's talk about it. If you're a property investor, you know that finding a good property investment is time consuming. It's not easy. Therefore, you need to have a robust, vibrant, and reliable team of estate agents to find good property deals for you. So empower my company and empower my agents so that we can empower you, number one, with bridging finance, number two, with good property deals. Because sometimes some of these properties, you don't want to flip them. In other words, you don't want to buy and sell them, but you want to buy them and keep them for rental so that you can have an annuity income. But you want good deals. You don't want a property just because of it's a property and go around telling people, hey, I've got 10 properties. But in the meantime, all of those 10 properties, they're just giving you a headache, Orikile makanda, boss. They're not giving you proper income. The income must be sweet. When that cash flow comes, it must be sweet. It tastes very good. Then you know that, property investment is good. Right, so as of 18 November, our current working capital is 25,000. So as I explained, in fact, initially I was working on 20, but something said, I must add this 5,000 variable cost. Why? Because the telephone is a variable cost, and then boosting properties on P24 and Facebook as well, that is a variable cost, as well as petrol, okay? So these costs, they can easily change. So if I say 25, I've been prudent. Okay. So yeah, website. So the more number of properties you put, the more they charge you more on these website. But these can cover easy 100 properties, and let's say each time we have 100 properties, and 20% of that is just good properties, and we know that in a short period of time they will sell. Even if out of those 20, every month you sell 5, then you're able to cover everything. I mean, at the rate of 50,000, where are you? At the rate of 50,000 times 5 is 250, and then the cost is 24,000. Look at it this way: 52,000. Your agents are going to take a part of it. You're going to be left with a part of it. Then you're able to cover all your expenses. So, thank you for listening to me. As we conclude, yes, let's go back. Let's go back where we started. turning property investors and entrepreneurs into bridging finance investors. Join me. Let's do this together. I learned a lot, and some of these things that I've learned, I want to share them with you. Together, we can make the industry a better place. Okay, thank you, and bye for now. Oh, did I do something wrong? Shift 5. Okay, bye guys.